Somehow Palpatine returned.
Dexter New Blood, Showtime's attempt to bring back their acclaimed show, resolve the open ending, and fix the many problems fans had with the original finale. How did that go? Let's take a look. Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and I love the original Dexter show. Fascinated by how the writers were able to get us intimately into the head of a violent serial killer. The show's premise was simple, playing off America's fascination with true crime and the popularity of anti-heroes and straight-up villain stories that rose to prominence in the 2000s and 2010s. Despite the show's popularity and intelligent writing, the writers failed to stick the landing in Dexter's final season, with some fans hating the entire season and some just hating the last 30 seconds of the final episode. I was in the latter category, wishing they faded to black during the hurricane and stayed dead. I went into Dexter New Blood hopeful for a satisfying resolution to Dexter's story, yet fearful of coming to light in current-day Hollywood. After watching the show, I came out feeling apathetic more than anything. And spoilers ahead. Dexter New Blood picks up 10 years after the original show's finale, where Dexter has resisted his killer instincts for nigh a decade and is in a happy relationship in this small New York town with a normal everyday job. The last 10 years have had no violent relapses or events of note. Dexter is dating the local police chief and working a 9-to-5 at a fish and game store. To stay in control of his dark passenger, he races through the woods every morning to stalk a legendary white buck, proving to himself that he's in control by not shooting it every day. One day, a local rich hothead takes the shot he's been resisting and killed the buck. Enraged, Dexter gives in and kills the hothead, struggling against rusty skills to cover up the kill in spite of an enclosing investigation headed by his girlfriend. To exacerbate the situation, Dexter's estranged son, Harrison, appears in town seeking to reconnect with his father. Dexter must face his past, try to be a good father, and prevent getting caught, while maintaining the stable life he's managed to achieve. Only when the hothead's father is revealed to be a fellow long-running serial killer does Dexter open up to Harrison and introduce him to his vigilante world to help his son deal with his own emerging dark passenger. Despite his best efforts, Dexter's true identity and past is uncovered by his girlfriend, the police chief, leading toward a very personal finale where Dexter must choose between his old life and his relationship with his son. In the fallout, Harrison chooses his humanity and shoots his father to protect the world from his dark passenger, ending the show with Dexter dead and Harrison on the run. I understand what they were trying to go for with the show, but it really didn't connect with me. It wasn't offensively bad, it was just sort of meh. The kill scenes were still visceral, still gaining us an in-depth look into Dexter's mind, yet it still felt like there was something missing. It's always difficult to bring an old show back to life, and these writers seem to be trying, correctly bringing part of the spirit of the show back to life. The biggest problem with the show is why? The very purpose of the new season seemed to exist just to kill Dexter. Nothing else seemed to matter, or be given much thought, leaving a mostly empty entertainment experience. I do think the best end for Dexter is his death, but this death felt empty. Harrison's turn feeling rushed, and the sole goal of the writers at the same time. But before we get further into my thoughts, let's check in with what the audiences and critics are thinking. I haven't taken a look at these reviews yet, but it may seem at first glance that I may actually be in the minority of people who just generally didn't get anything out of the show. In a rare stroke of coincidence, the critics and audience are actually equal. That's a very rare in my experience to see them agree. Luckily, there was not much of a political propaganda bandwagon to be jumped on with this show, so I can see why it could get a little bit more equal when the critics don't have something to go, virtue signal over. But let's take a look at what some of these audience members are thinking. This was the best ending for Dexter and everyone involved. All the events fell into place, leading to the grand finale. The last episode brought a sense of satisfaction, putting an end to everything. I obviously disagree. Not wholly, but just kind of, alright. But it does seem like he quite enjoyed it, and there are a few others in here. Oh, wow. Some half stars. I would like to say that it's a piece of shit. Unfortunately, toothless screenwriters believe this is how Dexter stories should end, cheaply. Spoilers, considering how high the bar was set and the fact that they had a decade to figure out what the show could have been, it simply didn't work. The creators could have grown with the times and altered the format of the show in order to bring something fresh to it. Sadly, they stuck to the same old rehearsed formula and executed it poorly with very lazy writing, which included coincidences of right place, right time. There were a lot of those. Like Harrison showing up right as Dexter relapses. That one I don't agree with wholly either. I definitely think it's a little bit more in between those takes, but it's way more less than I would have expected here. I would have rated it higher, but they somehow managed to make two really shitty endings in a row. They basically, they fucked up both endings. RIP, one of the best shows. The final episode was awful. It could have been an awesome show. You destroyed it. Yeah, that seemed to be what most people are thinking. Like, they enjoyed most of the season, but that last episode really killed their interest. I definitely seem to see a common thread going here. Alright, so generally split. More split than I would have expected. But let's check out what the critics are saying about it. Okay. Dexter New Blood repeats the odd past mistake, but ultimately delivers the perfect bloody conclusion to the story that the original finale failed to deliver. Not a terrible review. 4 out of 5. A little high for me, but fair. While it shouldn't be a prerequisite for shows to include lots of contemporary references, it would have been nice if there was one a little more surprising. I wonder if that critic's talking about, like, COVID or something like that. Like, it didn't reference the current state of the world at all, and it didn't reference, like BLM, which these critics love to be in the background. There were definitely some woke lines in it, but nothing about, current day events, and I really appreciated that. It very much stuck to its own story and didn't need the distractions. There's nothing really under the hood other than the comfort of nostalgia. I kind of have to agree with that one, but generally mixed from them as well. I feel like 75% on the overall is on both. They were both roughly 75. It was a little high for both, considering what all these reviews say, but overall very mixed. Very surprised to see audience and critics being split pretty evenly. Now let's take a look at the actual numbers of the episodes. So these are the ratings, the viewership for the season. And for those of you who don't know, the 18 to 49 demo, they're the ones who spend the most money. So they're the most important demographic when it comes to films and television shows and whatnot. And this is the percentage of all the 18 to 49-year-olds in the United States at the moment. So a good one, anything over 1% to 5% is considered a good demo. These demos aren't great, getting better than CW shows like Batwoman gets, but still not great. Ooh, that one was really bad. Oh, not looking good. And viewerships in the millions, so like a one solid is a million, so that's 678 viewers. 678,000 viewers. On the first episode back after 10 years, that's shockingly low. Maintained about, the 3, 5, 6, 7. The finale picked up, 800,000 people watched the finale. And their average was 594,000. That is just sad, especially with the show that was once the flagship of Showtime that everyone watched, everyone was talking about it, and Breaking Bad ruled television during their runs. And it's really disappointing to see that such a strong show came back to such a weak reception. Though I do have to mention there is some, not discrepancies, but disagreement when it comes to these numbers. This site, TV series finale, has proven accurate in the past, so I trust their numbers. But other places are reporting different numbers. Like Variety is saying that it nearly got 8 million viewers a week. That is an insane difference. And it's saying that it's like the most viewed Showtime show of all time. I don't know if I believe Variety, they've been inaccurate in the past, but there's just very contradictory reports here. So just pretty much everything else in the reviews. It's very much split down the middle on what the truth is. So I definitely like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Which numbers do you think are true, and what did you think about the show? Is my comments going to be just as evenly split as everyone else seems to be on this subject? Apathy is the perfect word to describe my thoughts on the season. It brought nothing to the story of Dexter and existed solely to kill him. I had difficulty really caring as the season progressed, finding it more and more difficult to connect with anyone or find a hook to latch onto.
But I came here because an overprivileged, cis white boy named Matt Caldwell went hunting in the woods one day and never came back.
Now, the biggest question when it comes to modern entertainment and Hollywood as a whole is, was the film woke, feminist, or political in an undue fashion? No. Technically not. There were a lot of lines, like throwaway lines, that were woke and really took me out of the story quickly, but overall it wasn't distractingly woke. If audience members can connect with the father-son relationship in the show, I do believe that they will find enjoyment in the story. The woke lines won't ruin it for them. For me, who struggle to care for that relationship, the woke lines stuck out a lot more and distracted me more than I otherwise would be. The political aspect is not important and can be overlooked, but overall it can be very distracting.
What are you doing?
Are you Dexter Morgan? It's me, your son.
Harrison.
Harrison was really complicated for me. One moment I hated him and would want him just to fucking leave. And the next moment I would really connect with his character and understand his struggle. He did a good job portraying an adolescent psychopath that was going down a path towards serial killer. His inclusion to the show was important and was necessary for the story that they were trying to tell. But he was written and acted very inconsistently, making it difficult to connect with him.
Chief Bishop! Chief Bishop, come in. Angela.
Chief Bishop had some good chemistry with Dexter, but it wasn't enough for me to connect with her. She felt like an empty character, just there to serve as the plot and nothing else. That may be just me, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I don't really have much to say on her because she didn't really leave an impression on me, good or bad. When it comes to Deborah, she was brilliant, masterfully resurrecting her character in an interesting way. Despite an empty script and a rather lackluster supporting cast, the actors from the original show shone out beautifully, still capturing the audiences with mesmerizing performances that bring the tone of the original show back to life. My favorite Dexter character was Deborah, so I'm so glad they found a way to bring her back as the dark passenger. And she absolutely stole the show with Michael C. Hall, by far becoming the best part of the show. The other side characters fulfilled their purpose in the story, but didn't really stand out all that much. Kurt was an intimidating villain, and the actor did a good job being frightening, yet he was very two-dimensional, just being generically evil. The standout side character for me was Logan. He was a lot like my own high school coaches and showed genuine caring for his players, including Harrison, and that connection was vital to Harrison's decision to kill Dexter in the finale. I definitely enjoyed it whenever he was on screen. Audrey was a lot like Harrison for me. In that 1 minute I was like, oh my god, go away, shut up, to actually caring about her relationship with Harrison and her mother. She was often used as a vehicle for the few woke lines in the season, so that really drove up my dislike of her. Despite that, the actress struggled to bring a compelling performance from the empty character that she was given in the scripts. God, I hated Molly. She was by far the worst part of the show. She was the woke feminist wet dream of all political podcasters out there. She just spewed hate in all her scenes, showing very little intelligence to explain the status that she's achieved in an investigation sphere. She was completely unnecessary in the story. The chief would have figured it all out in the end anyway. She was just in the show to spew woke lines and put a face to the recently killed of Kirk's victims. They should have just spent more time with a couple other recent victims to accomplish the same things. She did not need to exist.
I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. You deserve better. A better life. Better father. I've never really felt love until now.
Michael C. Hall is a phenomenal actor and deserves far more work than he gets. He lives and breathes Dexter, becoming him far more than most of the Hollywood actors working today. Besides Deborah, Dexter was the best part of the show. He still brilliantly captures the audience's attention and gives the personal view of Dexter's struggles. His performance is nearly enough to carry the show, but the empty script still failed him, preventing him from having a satisfying character arc. He went from, okay, to, okay, kill me. It wasn't a gradual change at all. In conclusion, Dexter New Blood was fine, not really bringing anything to entice new fans or resolving anything for the returning viewers. I'd have to give the show a 4 out of 10. Nothing was really offensive, it was just sort of there. Anyway, that's all I have for today, so please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.